Sunshine, wild ones, it's Bernadette. I am here with your pick a card tarot reading for Sunday, February 21st, 2021. Again with the repeating numbers 20, 21, 21, 21, 21. If you're seeing angel energy around you in particular this weekend, there's a good reason why that is. So, this card for you guys today is it's just the dawning of a whole new day in tarot. And for spirit animals, that's all I've got to say. It's like a new age, and I talked about this in yesterday's video about how there's just so many downloads that are coming that are, all of the ancient ways and the traditional ways of interpreting the animals and the tarot is awesome, and we always want to draw from that. And I'm really being urged to just keep repeating that you want to keep your mind open and you want to keep your channels open, which is perfect for today because the ruling chakra is the crown chakra, right? So we should have our crown chakra open. It's Sunday, so we talk about the sun. I've got my little sun and my little moon, to draw in that energy. And today is all about communication. And it seems like maybe it just kind of seems at first glance, maybe this card wouldn't be about that, because what's happened is we've got the Fool inverted, which is the Puffin inverted. I'll show you what it looks like straight up, right? Like I've never worked in front of a camera before. I'm like, ugh. So, the Fool is about taking risks and taking that leap of faith, but don't let it be a fool's leap of faith. You want to have some foundation behind it, right? You don't just want to. You want to walk off the ledge blindly, but make sure that your truest faith is intact. Well, in the traditional tarot card meanings for the Rider-Waite, which is, the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck that I work with is my own deck, and the animal allies that are paired with the traditional Rider-Waite cards, they bring just more energy and more symbolism and meanings and just more medicine to those cards. And the animals are paired very well because they told me who they wanted to be when we were putting the arc together. So when you take a look at the meanings of the Fool tarot card inverted, what you'll find is that the traditional meaning is about understanding that being careless and being cautious are two completely different things. And when the Fool is inverted, it really is a call for you to make sure that you are, whatever this is that you're doing, this new venture, this new idea, this new lifestyle, this new way of being, whatever the new thing is, that you do take your leap of faith, but you don't do it carelessly, but you don't be so overly cautious that then you are so impeded you can't take that leap of faith. You become just paralyzed and you just can't move forward. So a good example of that is I've got a bit of OCD, man. I must check I've got a gas stove, y'all, so I must check my gas stove and everything else in my house about 25 times before I leave. And in some ways, I battle against myself doing that. And I know so many others that have a similar kind of thing, because when we're walking the spiritual path that, metaphysics, and some people call it New Age, and some people just call it spirituality, we understand that whatever we put attention on is actually sending an intention out to the universe, and we don't want to do that. So I'm working a lot on being able to leave my house in a place of trust where as much as I've left it like you during the pandemic, to go on my great migration, my great journey to Publix. Like I've had to build Publix up in my mind just to be able to get through, because, where else are you going to go? In Gainesville, Florida. So, which is why I spend as much time in nature as I can. So I'm working diligently, not hard. Okay, we don't want to work hard. We want to work diligently, because who wants to work hard? Let's be honest here. But we do want to work diligently, because that word diligent, it brings up so many, yes, I'm accomplishing something, and I'm, this is powerful stuff and whatever. But when we say we're going to work hard, you're already tired before you say it. You're like, I need a glass of tea, and a nap. So let's work diligently to get rid of that, putting our intention our attention, and then creating an intention of things going terribly awry, because that is not cautious, that is careless. And the reason I'm harping on the communication so much is, and I'll get back to the rest of the message, but puffins have an unusual tongue, and that enables them to, when they dive for fish, the most recorded fish are eels, that because they love eels, poor eels, that they've recorded a puffin picking up in their fish is like, I want to say like 62. Yeah, it's 62 fish. And that's a lot. I mean, they're birds. They're about, yay big, kind of the size of penguins, not the emperor penguins, but, kind of the size of penguins. And that's a lot to be able to carry in your mouth. Well, when you look at the symbolism of fish or eel or anything else that they eat or they catch, you're talking about dealing with emotions, and you're talking about dealing with the water element. And puffins spend most of their time in the water because, God love them, they're clumsy little critters on land. But they get in where they fit in, and that's the water. So we're talking about a lot of emotion coming out of your mouth, right? But we're talking about unusual kinds of communication because of that really unusual tongue that the puffin has. What that spells to me, well, what the animal allies told me that it spells to us, is that there's something unique about your kind of communication. And you're supposed to be reminded of that today. Now, I talk a lot about people that want to write a book, or they want to write poetry, or they want to do their own tarot cards, or some kind of, any kind of art where you're expressing yourself. And it doesn't even have to be art. Maybe you're the trainer for your company. I read for a person, I don't know, a few months back, and they're a national trainer in one of the Darden food chain restaurants. And they travel all over the country, and that's all they do is train. And this poor old gal was having such a problem in her throat chakra. She'd become terrified of speaking in front of people, not crowds, but even if there were 2 or 3 people, she'd just be, and we had to work to unblock that, so on and so forth. So when you are weaving in, like, okay, this is Sunday, it's the crown chakra, the sun is the planet, now we've got puffin inverted, now we've got 3 of swords inverted, and burned out's all about the tongue, and it's unusual, and picking up fish, and now it's about emotion. It can seem like a big pot of goulash, you just throw everything in there, but it's not. Because again, ladybug, 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 if you connect the dots, what you're looking at is whatever is coming in through your crown chakra that's being downloaded into you. It's certain to have clarity, because today the ruling planet is the sun. I don't care how gloomy and miserable, and listen, I have been remiss. I apologize from my heart. For those of you that watch the channel, watch me, you're all about the animal allies and the animal spirit guides. Please, if you're in one of those zones that you're out of electricity, or it's cold, or it's whatever, oh my goodness, I just am sending so much everything to y'all, right? And I know that all the wild ones will join me in doing that, and I'm certain every one of y'all already has. But please know we're thinking of you, and we're just wishing all the very best for you. So when you talk about the clarity that's going to come in through your crown chakra, and then you talk about, those messages or that communication that's going to come out that's unusual, and now you're talking about, okay, don't be careless, but you should be cautious, but don't be so cautious that you are rendered immobile. There's a flow to that really, really should make sense. And what that means is that, even if we start at the core, even if we start at the basic, which is, listen, when I wanted to start my sites, somebody said to me, the world needs another website about tarot or crystals or whatever. And I said, the world certainly does, because everybody's got a unique way of expressing themselves. I'm going to be me. I've got to be me, right? And that's going to appeal to some people, and it's not going to appeal to some people. But let's do the math here. There's 7 billion people in the world. I am certain just the science of it would dictate at least some of those people are going to, want to pick up when I'm laying down. And you do, thankfully, thankfully. So there's 2 things at work here. Please know that you're supposed to get your form of communication out. And you've got to trust, because the animal allies, Puffy baby, is right behind you, showing you the way that everyone, not every single person, but there'll be however many people there need to be, will be picking up what you're laying down. The other thing that it is a call for is, okay, just how cautious is cautious before you're immobilized. And here's the greatest example of that, in my mind. In the publishing world, now there's a whole new, brand new kind of editor called a sensitivity editor that goes through every script or every manuscript in that particular publishing house, or if it's if you're an independent publisher like I am, and you're all into the, my God, we can't say anything about anybody, about nothing. Now we're stripping comedy away from the world, satire, because people are just so sensitive, or the world is trying to be more sensitive to different causes and peoples and ideals and whatever. I totally get that. I'm on board. But there's a fine line between you feeling like you have to adhere to that and that you can't have your authentic voice, and going overboard with being too careless with your speaking, or so cautious about that. I mean, this reading isn't about that. Okay, the reading is about anything it would happen to be about. But using and that's not just about the written word. It's not just about the sung word. It's about if you dance it, if you sculpt it. Let's say that you're even an analyst of some kind, and you're in the science field, and the math and sciences, and everything is, super very cut and dried, even within corporations. I mean, for a long, long time, corporations have been doing sensitivity training, but now it's like, it's on steroids. So it's up to you to decide what is careless speak, even if it's in your own voice, and what is so unusual that you get afraid of speaking it, doing it, saying it, figuring it out, because it either is so way out there, like unlike anything people have seen before. Because again, I'll tell this story till the day I drop out in my back 40, because it just I just want it to inspire everybody it can inspire. I can't tell you how many naysayers there were when I was like, hey, listen, the animal spirit guides are telling me to do this, this, and this, and this way. And they were like, you better check it again. That's never going to sell. That's never going to fly. Okay. And we did it anyway. And we're successful anyway, right? Okay. So you've got to decide to be your authentic voice, but not be, and do it with caution. Listen, you guys, you'll get to know me. I'm just really straight out up front. I'm a country girl. I'm very plain spoken. There's no time when you live in the country and you're in farming communities, and there's no time for the rhetoric. There's no time for the BS. You just got to cut to it, figure out what needs to be fixed, and get it fixed, or people don't eat. It's just that simple. So, but understand that there is a fine line when you want to get your voice out into the world. And the example I'll use is me, or any other YouTuber, or any other blogger or vlogger or some people just, they're all out, they're all in. Awesome. And there's a crowd that follows them. But for many of us, we are hopefully the very best version of ourselves when we're speaking our unusual or different kind of way, or what we're ever talking about or doing or showing. But we still try to show up authentically. But there's always another side to people, unless you're one of those people that are just so comfortable in some of these people have millions of followers. That's awesome. And you may be one of those people that want to show up and do it that way. Send me your channel. I'll be right there. But for me, I allude to some things that are a little off color. And, there are certain words I'll say that are not accepted in public, in polite society. But it's different than if I were standing on a stage doing comedy. It's different. I'm a little more careful about what what I can, or I'm not what I communicate, but how I communicate. But I never want to go so far as to be so cautious that I just feel trapped. Y'all know how I feel about being trapped. I'm not having that. Not for me or any of y'all. That's just not okay. Freedom is freedom. That's it. Freedom, right? That's it. So that is the thing. So, this might seem like I'm going around in a bit of a circle, but if I cut to the chase, it's still back to the original, very simple version of, with the Three of Swords inverted, with the Puffin inverted, now you're looking at, are you going to be careful and so careful that you get immobilized? Or are you going to be careless to the point that you get yourself in trouble in some way? Or are you going to be careful to the point that you're so careful about being your authentic self, the raw version of yourself, that you get immobilized and you just can't move forward? And the reason that I use that whole YouTuber, vlogging, blogging, social media person, it's purely based on my personal experience, but also the sheer volume of you guys that have written me like, I want to do what you do, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. So I've asked the animal allies that when it's appropriate to put that kind of wisdom in, where, you know, you guys can take a look at those kind of things to decide what you want to do or what you don't want to do. And there you have it. So pick up your copy of the Archanimal Tarot and Oracle deck, subscribe to my YouTube channel, use your authentic and your unique voice. The world needs you. You need to show up for you. And as always, stay wild.